Okay, hello everyone, I'm Yunyun's father. Today I want to share with you the improvement of the process of wedding dress retouching. What about the early stage? When we are doing wedding dress retouching, most of them use Adobe's Line Run or Photoshop to do the retouching actions. That's because AI has progressed very rapidly in the past year or two, so we can apply this advantage of AI to the retouching of our wedding photography. What about the software you see on the screen now? It's called Krita and Kita. Krita is a free and open source professional digital drawing software. It can be used and downloaded for free. In its official website, there are many learning resources and detailed introductions. Okay, interested partners can come to their official website to see it or take part in our Krita course. In addition to Krita, you also need to install another one called Krita AI Diffusion to fully use it. Only by using the functions of AI can you fully use the functions of AI. We will introduce the installation method of Krita AI Diffusion to you in this installation course, but what about this web page? He will introduce AI Diffusion, what it can do, for example. Simple, use a paintbrush to draw a general picture, and it will help you produce the corresponding painted monkey. That is to say that you select a part in the box, and then he can go to this part, be replaced or removed. What about the related and detailed usage methods? We will all share it with you in the subsequent courses. So let's go back to our side. Okay, what about here? Let me also briefly introduce the model I use, Howling to make a fork mix, Howling that fork mix. Well, you can download this model from the Citta side of the West Railway Station. We will also put the URL in the link under the video. Then his file size is 6.46G. It is a so-called checkpoint. It has been downloaded 10,000 times and more than 1,000 times. So this is a relatively commonly used AI drawing model that imitates Gengren. The version we use is this version 2.0, and the version 2.0 is better. What about after we install these necessary kits in Krita? For example, I hope to modify this wedding photo a little now, such as the wrinkles of this dress and pants. I hope he can have some improvements, so I ask him to intensity. The intensity here represents the degree of change in AI. Then I don't want to change too much, so I will lose the composition I took at the beginning, or some of this, or a feeling of charm like this. Haha, I just want a slight possibility to modify it. It's just some background or these elements on the clothes. What about the strength here? For example, I just change it to 20, then what? What about this location here? What about this position under AI image generation? Is it used to type the so-called descriptor prompt spell? So when I don't want to give any prompts here, I simply change the so-called intensity to 20% and then let it refine. Then the speed of refine here depends on whether you have enough money, buy better hardware. Is your GPU fast enough anyway? It has produced a change. Hey, it has produced a change. You can see this one. The human face is actually getting worse. So I click on the blank space here to return to the original appearance, yell to return to the original appearance, and click it again. Is this AI after 20% using the fork model to change a good appearance? Then we can intercept its advantages and apply it to our original picture. Let's first look at the original picture and yell that this is the original soil. For example, the wrinkles of these pants will be smoother after AI retouching. It's whole, this one. We can slightly compare the good before and after the AI retouching and not before the retouching. The good after the AI retouching and not before the retouching. Then for this part, we can apply the desired result after applying the AI retouching. Then here, what do you think is the most fly in the ointment? There are two places, and the two places I see so far are human faces. Because the charm of human faces is the most important thing when we are doing photography, when we are taking pictures. The most essential and rare part is that you have to have a way to catch that moment. This is the most powerful thing about Dad Yun. Well, I am the best at catching people. this one is lucky, and this one is boasting a little. Okay? So, we have to find a way to get back the original face, and then keep the smooth feeling after this retouching. And what? This one can be zoomed when we roll the wheel. We can see that this side of its shoes is also deformed. Then we can get it back in this place. This is before retouching. After retouching the picture, before retouching the picture, what can we do appropriately? Go find. We want a result. The clothes like this are smoother after retouching, better looking and better. So how do we get back the original face of the face? Okay, then if you have learned Photoshop, you should know that you can use the so-called layer mask. What is a layer mask? In this Krita, there is also something like this. You can see my current working panel. The first one is the so-called layer. Coating layers coating, then I can in this one. Plus, here, go and add the layer I want. For example, there is a so-called transparency mask raw here, which has a transparency mask. Okay, so that you can see more clearly, I'll dot this 3 lines here. It has the size of a so-called thumbnail. Let's enlarge it a little. I'll enlarge it a little. Then it will, under preview, add a so-called transparency refractor. In Photoshop, the brush shortcut key is brush and B. Press B to switch to the brush. If you want to keep the usage habits of Photoshop in Krita, what can you do? What about in settings.setting? Go to set the shortcut key of Krita. Go to set the shortcut key of Krita. What about this? Let's go to config from setting and you can see it. One of the keyboards is called keyboard shortcut, keyboard shortcut. At the bottom we can select Photoshop compatible, Photoshop compatible. Here, select it the same. So in this way, most Photoshop shortcuts can continue to be used in Krita, and you can throw away the photos. Okay. Besides, what about the foreground color and background color? Press the shortcut key low in Photoshop, and it will return to default, which is black and white. Black and white. In the so-called mask, they are used to represent transparency and opacity respectively, so I pressed after D is confirmed to be black and white. I can use the brush tool to smear the area I want. I'll slightly smear the part of the face here and paint it back to the appearance of my original face. Well, because this time our purpose is to improve the softness of the whole clothes or background. If you want to keep the playfulness and charm of the original human face, the part of the human face cannot be sacrificed. For example, if you show off too much, you can press the cross, and here you will switch the X of the cross shortcut key. Just switch it, paint it back, and you can paint it back again. Paint it back like this, press the cross and paint it back. It means exchange. The cross is that the black and white of the exchange brush represent transparency and opacity. It is an action to do this on the refractor of this layer. Press and hold the blank key, and we can move the picture. There is a bug here. The part of this shoe is the same. That is, repair it back. If you think this edge is too abrupt, you should open this rubbing edge of your brush. So, it turns out that this is the case, and then it's good to retouch the picture through AI. Here, we can keep the part we want through the layer mask film and decide where to present and where to paint it off. This is the coating. This is a good concept of film. If you want to learn how to improve our photography retouching process through AI, remember to help us press the like subscription and turn on the little bell to share it with more friends. Thank you, and bye-bye.